What is going on, Dragon Ball fans? Welcome back to another Dragon Ball fan manga review, where today we're going to be reviewing a fan manga centered around Gohan Black in replacement of Goku Black in the Future Trunks story arc, as instead of Zamasu having to steal Goku's body in the future to execute the Zero Mortals plan, instead, Zamasu steals the body of Gohan in replacement of Goku. As for many years now, I've been reviewing and introducing all kinds of Dragon Ball fan mangas to the world created by the community for the community, so if you guys are interested in seeing and reading up on incredible stories and concepts such as Dragon Ball AF, Dragon Ball Legendary, Dragon Ball New Age, Dragon Ball X, and many others, then feel free to check out the Dragon Ball fan manga playlist in the description box for more videos such as this, as right now we are going to be diving into a brand new manga chapter. As before we begin, if you are new to this channel, hit that subscribe button and turn on all notifications to be the first to know when a new video is posted onto this channel, as we kick off the Dragon Ball Super Gohan Black manga chapter number 3, with Gohan Black having to smile hovering over Trunks after destroying Mai and the time machine. And this is a very surreal moment, especially for Trunks, in understanding that Trunks had not only lost his mother during the course of battle against Gohan, but now also had lost Mai as well. And as Gohan approaches, we see how Trunks' hair is covering his face. He punches the ground. He's pouring out his emotions because the only two people in his life that are left that he loves so dearly have now been taken away from him from a figure who resembles that of his master. And we see as Gohan begins to hover over Trunks, Trunks transforms into a Super Saiyan, but he's also crying. He doesn't seem to understand. The rage that is within Trunks is beginning to overwhelm him. As Trunks looks up, he grabs onto Gohan and he goes on to claim, "You bastard." And we see the emotion, we see the anger, we see everything that Trunks had fought so hard for to keep all throughout these years was all of a sudden taken from him, as we see Gohan Black begin to clap and laughing and having to state, "And to think that I once thought that here you were exceeding your limits. But even so, this was the only way to guarantee that you wouldn't interfere in my ascension to the new Supreme God." As Trunks begins to cry and saying, "Did you lose your mind? Why did you pretend to be the friend that I lost? What the hell is wrong with you?" Because Trunks doesn't understand what Gohan is saying. Gohan is referencing and ascending to become the new Supreme God of the universe, but Trunks is more or less saying, "Have you lost your mind? What happened to you?" As Trunks immediately grabs onto his sword and he goes on the attack, but Gohan makes the comment and saying, "Come to me," as he sticks his hand out, not knowing what exactly Trunks' move is going to be, but more or less anticipating it, as out of nowhere we see how Gohan manages to grab onto a sword and he goes on to tell Trunks it seems that the brat wants to play. We'll see how this feels, as he immediately begins to clash swords with Trunks, and the sword that Gohan is wielding actually resembles that of the Z sword. As they both begin to exchange, we see how Trunks goes on to state, "I don't know what happened to you, Gohan, but I won't let you do as you will. I won't let you destroy your legacy. I'll take away your arms and your legs to stop you." As Gohan replies so angrily in stating, "Humans are such sickening, sentimental creatures. Even when I kill your most important mortals to you, you still seek redemption. Pathetic. I do not regret anything." As immediately Trunks leaps backwards and having to state, "Shit, I have no other option. Masenko!" And as soon as Trunks unleashes the Masenko, Gohan doesn't seem to be concerned, but instead, Gohan Black goes on to comment and saying, "How predictable that you would use that technique. What are you trying to do, reach my heart? Humans constantly destroy what they hold dear, and then they have the hypocrisy to pretend that they can achieve peace with feelings." Very ominous in Gohan Black's approach in this fan-made manga, having to really dig deep in Trunks' feelings, as out of nowhere Gohan fires back with his own version of the Masenko, which not only overtakes Trunks' Masenko, but it goes as far as to show how strong Gohan Black truly is. As Trunks goes on to state, "Shit, he's just too strong. I have to stop him in another way," as he immediately charges up for another counterattack as Trunks shoots out an energy blast in hoping to distract Black, but then he ends up behind Gohan as he slashes him from behind. And immediately right after slashing him, we see how Trunks goes on to state, "Take this," and fires a massive blast from the sky. As Gohan looks up, we see a massive wound on his back, but Gohan is still laughing as Black goes on to state, "Haha, nice try, but you should really think of something better." further. As he just stands there anticipating his attack, we immediately see how Trunks' attack is basically bouncing back and forth, as Trunks goes on to state, if I keep moving at this speed, I should be able to confuse him. Which of course, the main reason why Trunks is using this attack is to simply catch Black off guard. And Black seems to notice this. As he seems to be keeping up with the attack, he begins to laugh. And then just like we saw against Mecha Frieza, Trunks immediately shows up behind Gohan as he's going for the finishing blow, and Gohan looks behind him as he goes on to state, there you are. Very reminiscent during the events of Mecha Frieza and Trunks in Dragon Ball Z, but instead, we see how Gohan counters with his own sword. And Trunks is shocked. Every little thing that Trunks is trying to do seems to be backfiring, as Trunks goes on to state, shit, his reflexes are immediate. I mean, is he just reading my movements? Does he even have a blind spot? As Black goes on to state, ha, your childish, naive mindset, even past your own limit, you cannot match me. I'm reacting to the movement of your ki. Your continued struggle is pointless. This body was forged in far more intense battles. Do not run from your own death, Trunks. As instantly Gohan Black cocks back, kicking Trunks directly in the chest as Trunks falls on his back, and we see how his eyes are beginning to glaze over. And Trunks goes on to state, this has to be a damn joke. How could he have so much power without even being transformed? I can't even touch him in my most powerful form, and I'm being treated like a child. He's far stronger than Cell. But I can't fail, I have to stop him. And we see how Trunks stands up. Even after acknowledging that Black is stronger, we see how once more he begins to transform. As Trunks goes on to state, you're not going any further. You destroyed the only family I had left, and now you want to tarnish your legacy? As Black goes on to reply by stating, so, your strength increases with your rage. Let's see if we can push it even further. It's a shame that you weren't able to save your poor mother. Basically pushing Trunks' buttons even more, as Trunks goes on to state, shut up! And then he punches Gohan in the face, but Gohan retaliates not by fighting back, but by laughing. As he goes on to state, is that all you have, Trunks? And Trunks is just giving it to Black. Punches, kicks, he's doing everything he could to solidify his position in dominating Black, but it looks like Trunks seems to be failing at his attempt to do so. As Trunks goes on to state, if I keep observing Gohan's movement pattern, I should be able to intercept his change in direction once I switch my strikes. If I'm fast enough, I may be able to attack him with my sword by taking advantage of his overconfidence. Basically trying to buy time and focusing more or less on Gohan's blind spots, but then Black notices that Trunks is trying to stab him and instead moves out of the way and stabs Trunks with his sword as opposed to getting stabbed, which I think was a brilliant scene in knowing the fact that Gohan not only wields a sword of his own, but he also manages to stab Trunks in this timeline just as Trunks was trying to stab Black. And we see how Trunks falls down to the ground. His sword hits the dirt, his hands are bloody, he's standing there before he collapses as Trunks goes on to state, damn it, he let me strike first. He knew I was going to deal a death blow, and Gohan wipes his face by going on to state, you lack both strength and experience. Understand this, mortal. This victory could never have been yours. I am much more than your feeble mind can comprehend. Enough games. Since the time machine has been dealt with, I'll leave you with a story, as Gohan Black begins to reveal exactly who he is, as he goes on to state, to begin with, I've had this body for a few years. This imperfect form was remade perfectly when it was molded with the divine power and exquisite wisdom. In this same timeline, myself from another timeline came here to contact me and inform me of a plan he called the Contingency Plan. My original name is Zamasu, the absolute ruler of the 12 universes from the timeline in which I hail. It wasn't easy, but thanks to a detailed report of the events of all parallel realities, I was able to avoid many problems. As Trunks goes on to bleed and cry by stating, I still have a hard time believing it, but at this stage, I'm not about to just deny what you're saying. I just want to know one thing, why the body of my teacher? Why come here? As Gohan Black replies by saying, I don't take orders from mortals, but I will answer that question as a final request. My other self arrived a year before the events in my time happened. His arrival was unexpected, but after an extended conversation, we put the contingency plan into motion. We took advantage of the chaos surrounding Majin Buu and changed the events. I waited for 3 years. My other self and I agreed if he did not return within that time, it would be necessary to continue his work. He never arrived. So assuming the worst, I stepped in and came here to change the events and finish the Zero Mortals plan. In this time period, many parallel realities collide, so tell me, mortal, without a time machine to access parallel worlds, what chance do you have left? As Trunks begins to stand up, his body is shaking. As Trunks goes on to state, damn you just took advantage of our Saiyan traits, so no one could face you, you liar! And that's when Black punches Trunks in the face as Trunks falls down, with Black having to reply by stating, mind your language, did your vile mother not show you respect for the gods? As Trunks thinks back to Bulma and Mai and having to state, mother, Mai, Gohan, forgive me. This is the second time I've failed all of you. Is my destiny always to fail? As finally we see how Gohan Black begins to ascend in the sky and having to state, Kaioshin, gods of destruction and angels alike, you will all be sacrifices to usher in the new age of divine supremacy. Fate has given me another chance to complete my holy mission. I will crush all of you without a trace. Let this mortal serve as an example to all those that would defy the new cosmic order. As back on the homeworld of the Kais, we see how Kibito begins to rush towards the Supreme Kai and having to state, Kaioshin-sama, we have a really big problem. A divine key has arrived on Earth and is getting much bigger and bigger. But that's not all. He's a Saiyan and carries with him the legendary Z-Sword and 2 Potara earrings. As Shin goes on to state, impossible. The Z-Sword is still here on this planet, but the Potara is the subject of question. A fusion? As Kibito goes on to state, no, I believe it's a divine being in the body of a mortal. I strongly suggest raising the alarm. He's killing other mortal beings and speaks of this new supremacy. As back on Earth, we see how Trunks looks up and saying, Your ki is making gravity fluctuate around me. I can hardly breathe. As Gohan goes on to state, you should feel worthy to be an example of those who would defy the new order. Where there is rebellion, mercy does not exist, as he finally transforms into, assumingly enough, Super Saiyan Rose. As he raises his hands up in the air, Gohan Black goes on to state, I'll have to compress my energy to minimize the impact. I don't want to destroy this planet. As Trunks goes on to utter his final words and stating, I think this is the end of me. I gave it my best shot. As Gohan Black cries out, Miso Ragnarok, and fires off a massive energy blast that officially kills Trunks. As we see Gohan Black destroy everything around him, he goes from Super Saiyan Rose back down to base form. As he goes on to state, no mercy. I was wise to kill those 2 first. If I attacked everyone, I couldn't be sure if I would destroy the time machine. I can't afford any errors. But then as quickly as it happened, Shin and Kibito appear. As Black notices Shin and goes on to state, Kaioshin, I assumed you would come. Now, it's time to relieve you of your duties. An imminent encounter. The balance of the 12 universes is on the verge of collapse, to be continued, as the Dragon Ball Super Gohan Black manga chapter number 3 comes to an official close. And I really do enjoy the depth that Gohan Black has in terms of messing with Trunks mentally. It's not more or less attacking him physically, because physically Gohan seems to have the upper hand, and Zamasu has this body. He had obtained Gohan's body now for 3 years, and only assuming that the other Zamasu was killed off, he went on ahead to steal the body that was necessary during that time in having to stop Majin Buu, stealing Gohan's body, carrying on the legacy 3 years later, and getting stronger each way through. But it looks like there's more mystery shrouded behind this version of Gohan that we are well unaware of. Of course, he does have further transformations, and it looks like Gohan Black's base form is much more powerful than even Trunks' Super Saiyan form, assumingly enough, even Super Saiyan 2. And I really did enjoy the depth in which Gohan Black went on to talk about his supremacy, ushering in a new cosmic order, how he's not only gunning after the Kaioshins, but he's also gunning after the gods of destruction, the angels, and it also looks like he does want to preserve the planet, but he wants to make everybody else suffer. So this is an entirely different take as to what we saw with Goku Black, which I really do enjoy, but in the end, I would like to get your thoughts in the comment section below. How did you guys feel about Chapter 3 of Gohan Black? Did you guys like the encounter between him and Trunks? What are your overall thoughts on Trunks dying? How exactly is Kibito and the Supreme Kai going to respond to Gohan Black? And are we going to see different versions of Goku and Vegeta be introduced to fight off this new enemy? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, guys. Thank you all once more for watching. If you guys have not checked out parts 1 and 2 of the Dragon Ball Super Gohan Black story arc, then make sure you guys go ahead and check it out down below. If of course you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you guys go ahead and slap a big fat like down below. Tune back in for more. If of course you guys are new, punch that subscribe button, guys. 500,000 strong. Tune back in for more, and I'll be seeing each and every single one of you guys down in the comment section below. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Cue that legendary outro, bitch.
This is the Galactic Emperor of the Universe, and of course I'm here to tell you to subscribe to UnrealEntGaming and all his social media platforms. Also, don't forget to turn on notifications so you can be the first to know every time that he uploads a new video.
Oh, did someone say UnrealEntGaming? Oh my god.
The fuck's up, on? Put on some clothes!
Well, why don't you put on any clothes?
What? I don't need clothes, but Jesus Christ, that's huge!